Whispers are echoing across the major leagues, and fans in the Bronx can barely contain their excitement. Word on the street is that Jorge Polanco might be on his way to don the iconic pinstripes of the New York Yankees. Yeah, you heard that right. The versatile infielder, the switch-hitting dynamo who spent most of his career turning heads in Minnesota, could soon be calling Yankee Stadium his new home. While there's no official confirmation just yet, insiders close to the situation say the deal is all but done, and it's only a matter of time before we see him stepping into the batter's box under the bright lights of the Bronx. This isn't just any move, it's a seismic shift. Polanco isn't a typical trade chip. He's a proven batter clutch performer and a locker room presence that could quietly become one of the best under-Theodore acquisitions the Yankees have made in years. This buzz didn't come out of nowhere. It started as a murmur, a tiny leak from front office chatter that began snowballing through MLB circles. And now it's a full-blown storm, and Yankee Nation is bracing for a potential game changer. Now let's break down why this possible move is setting the baseball world on fire. Jorge Polanco isn't just another name on the back of a jersey. This is a guy who brings depth, versatility, and a quietly dangerous bat to any lineup he's a part of. He's been anchoring the Twins in field for years, serving as one of their most reliable and consistent contributors, especially when healthy. You don't just luck into a player like Polanco. You scout, you plan, you wait for the perfect opportunity. And maybe, just maybe, that moment has arrived for Brian Cashman and company. Rumor has it the Yankees front office has been quietly monitoring Polanco for months, waiting for the right combination of need, availability, and timing. With recent injuries and inconsistencies plaguing the Yanks in field, Polanco might be more than just a flashy sign, and he could be the solution to a problem that's been growing for 2 seasons. Let's not forget the kind of numbers this guy can post when he's in a groove. We're talking 20-plus homers, an OPS that flirts with $800, and the kind of switch-hitting flexibility that keeps opposing managers up at night. But what really gets people talking is how Polanco fits into the current Yankees roster. Because let's face it, this team has been searching for that elusive balance between power and consistency, flash and grit. In Jorge Polanco, they might be getting all of that in one package. He's not a superstar in the traditional sense, but he's got that glue guy energy that championship teams always seem to have. Think back to the great Yankee teams of the past. There was always that one guy who didn't get all the headlines but quietly won games. Polanco could be that guy. He can play second, shortstop, even third in a pinch. That kind of flexibility is invaluable, especially in the postseason when every inning is a chess match. And in the Yankees' current setup, that versatility might be the key to unlocking some of the lineup's hidden potential. Word is Aaron Boone is already sketching out potential lineups with Polanco in the mix. The possibilities are endless, and that's exactly what makes this rumored signing so tantalizing. There's also the financial aspect of this rumored deal, which, if true, is being handled with classic Yankee finesse. According to sources, the Yankees may be absorbing Polanco's current contract with some back-end restructuring to keep it team-friendly, a move that would let them strengthen their roster without triggering massive luxury tax implications. For a team that's always walking the fine line between spending and sustainability, it's a smart play. Polanco's current deal is reasonable for a player of his caliber, and if the Yanks manage to lock him in without giving up too many top prospects, it could go down as one of Cashman's most efficient transactions in recent years. Of course, no major league rumor comes without its doubters. Some insiders are skeptical, suggesting that Polanco's injury history and recent performance dips could make this a risky acquisition. But the Yankees have always been a franchise that bets big, and more often than not, they land on the right side of history. If Polanco stays healthy and finds his groove, he could become the biggest steal of this entire offseason. And here's another twist in this unfolding story. Multiple players currently on the Yankees roster are reportedly in favor of this move. According to clubhouse sources, some veterans have already reached out to Polanco, encouraging him to consider New York as his next chapter. That kind of internal lobbying doesn't happen unless the team feels like a piece is missing, and that piece could be Jorge Polanco. Chemistry matters, especially in a clubhouse filled with stars and expectations. Polanco is known for being humble, hardworking, and focused. He doesn't bring drama, he brings production. He doesn't seek the spotlight, he lets his bat and glove do the talking. That kind of mentality fits perfectly with the Yankees' current culture, which has slowly shifted toward quiet confidence and internal accountability. If this move does go through, it might not just be a front office victory, it could be a locker room boost that sets the tone for the second half of the season. Momentum in baseball is everything, and this rumor feels like the spark that could light a fire. Let's not ignore the timing here either. Mid-season rumors like this don't usually explode unless there's something real behind them. Polanco's name popping up now as the trade deadline approaches and the Yankees look to make a serious push feels very deliberate. The front office is clearly working on something, and the leak of Polanco's name to insiders could be a tactical move. Think about it. Stir the waters, get the fan base excited, and maybe even apply a little pressure to other teams in the hunt. Because you better believe there are other franchises interested in Polanco. The Mariners, Brewers, and Blue Jays have all been linked to him at various points this year. But when the Yankees get serious about a player, history shows they usually get their man. If they feel like Polanco is the missing piece, they won't be outbid. Not when they're this close to contention. So while it's still just a rumor, the momentum feels very real. And in a city that lives and breathes baseball, the mere possibility of Jorge Polanco in pinstripes is enough to send shockwaves. There's also an interesting dynamic in how this possible signing could shake up the infield. Let's say Polanco does join the Yankees. What happens next? Does he take over at second base? Does Gleyber Torres shift positions or become trade bait? Could DJ LeMahieu move into a utility role full-time? These are the dominoes that could start falling if this deal becomes reality. And that's what makes it all so exciting. It's not just about adding a good player. It's about how that player alters the entire chemistry and strategy of the team. Polanco isn't just filling a hole. He's potentially unlocking a whole new version of his Yankees lineup, one that's more dynamic, more flexible, and more dangerous. We've seen teams get hot after one key acquisition, and Polanco might be exactly the kind of jolt this roster needs. The Yankees haven't made a splash yet this season, but this rumor might be the calm before the storm. All signs point to something big brewing in the Bronx, and Jorge Polanco could be the first domino to fall. And let's not forget the fan reaction, because if there's one thing Yankees fans know, it's how to read the room. And right now the room is buzzing. Social media is already lighting up with mock trades, lineup projections, and Polanco highlights. Reels! Fans are pulling up his clutch postseason hits, his defensive gems, and remembering just how valuable a guy like him can be down the stretch. And that excitement, that hope is something you can't fake. The Yankees fan base has been starving for a bold move, something to signal that this front office is still aligned on chasing title number 28. If Polanco becomes a Yankee, it won't just be a baseball story. It'll be a New York story. A redemption arc, a chance to rewrite the script, and a reminder that no matter how the season starts, it's how you finish that matters. So keep your eyes open because this rumor is gathering speed and all signs point to something big. Jorge Polanco, New York Yankees. It's not official yet, but it's starting to feel inevitable. If the Jorge Polanco rumor becomes reality, it could be the first domino in a bigger strategic overhaul for the Yankees. Don't be surprised if this potential move signals the start of a new front office philosophy, one that focuses less on blockbuster names and more on balanced versatile contributors who can thrive in high-pressure environments. Look at what teams like the Braves and Astros have done in recent years, not just collecting stars, but finding the right fit for their clubhouse. Polanco fits that mold. He's battle-tested postseason experience and still in his prime. And unlike a big-name free agent who demands headlines, Polanco slides in quietly and lets his performance do the talking. That's the kind of under-Theodore energy that championship teams thrive on. And if this rumor proves true, it's a clear sign that the Yankees aren't just reacting to their weaknesses, they're evolving. Polanco might not be the flashiest name on the market, but sometimes the smartest moves are the ones that look small on paper and end up huge in October. That's what makes this buzz so exciting. It feels like a strategic chess move, not a PR stunt. And those are the ones that matter most. Of course, any major acquisition comes with ripple effects. And this one is no different. If Jorge Polanco is truly headed to the Bronx, you have to wonder how that affects the future of Gleyber Torres. Torres, once a rising star in the Yankee system, has had an up and down tenure with the team. Some stretches have been electric, while others have been plagued by inconsistency and defensive lapses. With Polanco possibly sliding into second base, Gleyber could suddenly become one of the most intriguing trade chips in all of baseball. Teams like the Giants, Marlins, or even the Cubs could come calling if the Yankees make it known that Torres is available. It's a tough pill to swallow for fans who still believe in Gleyber's potential, but this is the business of baseball. Sometimes to get better, you have to make hard choices, and Polanco's rumored arrival might be that catalyst, the spark that forces the front office to look at the bigger picture. So while fans are right to be excited, there's also a layer of uncertainty. One move can change everything, and if Polanco comes in, expect a flurry of decisions to follow in his wake. But let's dive deeper into Polanco himself, because this isn't just a guy coming in to be a placeholder. Jorge Polanco, when healthy, is a legitimate all-star caliber talent. We're talking about a switch hitter who's cracked 30 doubles in a season, has a career OPS over .750, and plays multiple infield positions with solid metrics. He doesn't chase bad pitches, he works counts, and he brings that grind-to-town at-bat mentality the Yankees lineup has been missing lately. He's not afraid of the moment either. He's played in the postseason, faced elite pitching, and delivered when it counted. That's the kind of presence you need in October. He's the opposite of a feast or famine hitter, and his profile fits perfectly in a lineup that already boasts power bats like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. Give him the short porch in right field, and suddenly those line drives start looking a lot more dangerous. And here's the thing, because he's been in Minnesota, Polanco's been flying under the national radar. But talent doesn't care about zip codes. If this guy puts on the pinstripes, he's gonna open a lot of eyes. That's not hype. That's just what happens when the right player finds the right team. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments, and you can already picture it, can't you? Polanco walking up to the plate in October, the Bronx buzzing, the lights blazing, and him settling into the box with quiet confidence. This is the kind of player who thrives in that environment, not overwhelmed by it, but energized by it. The Yankees have had their share of big names falter under the pressure of New York, but Polanco doesn't strike me as that kind of player. He's not coming to be the savior. He's coming to be a piece of something bigger, and that matters because when every at-bat feels like a battle, you want grinders. You want guys who can hit a sac fly in the 8th inning, who can move a runner over in the 9th, who can turn a double play when everything's on the line. Polanco does all of that. And if he really is on his way to the Bronx, you better believe. Aaron Boone is already thinking about postseason lineups. This isn't just a mid-season rental. This is a player you trust in October. And that alone makes this rumor more than just noise. It makes it a potential turning point. Another layer to this buzz that's got people talking. The leadership angle. Jorge Polanco isn't loud, but he's respected. Teammates talk about his focus, his work ethic, and how he carries himself like a pro every single day. And in a Yankees clubhouse that's gone through a lot in the past couple seasons, injuries, underperformance, off-field drama, adding a calming veteran presence like Polanco could be invaluable. He's the type of player who leads by example, and sometimes that's exactly what a team needs when they're trying to refocus and push for a title. Think about how underrated that is. Someone who shows up, does his job, lifts up younger players, and doesn't demand the spotlight. That's a rare thing in today's game. And it's exactly the kind of character fit the Yankees have quietly, prioritized in recent years. Yes, they want production, but they also want the right kind of players. And if Polanco ends up being part of this team, he's going to have an impact far beyond the stat sheet. That's the kind of influence that wins games and maybe even helps win championships. The kind you don't see on highlight reels, but feel in the dugout. Now let's look at a bigger picture, because this rumor isn't just about one player. It's about momentum. It's about the message it sends to the rest of the league. If the Yankees pull off this move, they're telling everyone we're not done. We're not folding. We're coming. It's the kind of aggressive mindset that's defined the Yankees for decades. And while recent years have seen a more cautious, calculated front office, this rumor hints at a return to that bold, decisive identity. Polanco's addition would be more than a lineup upgrade. It would be a signal, a shot across the bow. It would tell the Rays, the Red Sox, the Astros, and everyone else in the playoff hunt that New York is back in business. And that matters. Momentum isn't just built on wins and losses, it's built on energy, belief, and vision. When a team makes a move that shows belief in its roster, players respond, fans respond, and the whole narrative shifts. So if Jorge Polanco is indeed Bronx bound, the ripple effects could be massive. It's not official yet, but you can feel it in the air. Something is happening, and it might be bigger than we think. And here's a little wrinkle that might add even more fuel to this fire. Polanco has been unusually quiet in recent interviews. No denial, no deflection, just vague comments about focusing on today and letting things play out. That's classic code in the world of baseball. When players know something's brewing but can't say it out loud, you get those kinds of answers. And it only adds to the intrigue. Why wouldn't he shut the rumor down? Why not squash the talk if there's nothing to it? Because maybe he knows the wheels are already in motion. And that makes every day, every update, every tweet from insiders feel like a countdown. The silence from both camps, the Yankees and Polanco's side, is deafening. And in this business, silence is often the loudest sound of all. It suggests that conversations are real, that agreements might be close, and that both sides are just waiting for the right moment to pull the trigger. So while we wait for the official word, the rumor continues to build. Jorge Polanco to the Yankees isn't just a possibility. It's becoming a looming headline, one that could break any day now. And when that moment comes, if it comes, you can expect Yankee Nation to erupt. Because this isn't just about one player, it's about what he represents. Jorge Polanco, the steady switch-hitting infielder from the Midwest, might be the piece that reignites a championship chase. And even if it's still just a rumor, it's the kind of rumor that feels like destiny. The kind that fits just a little too well. Because every great Yankee story has that moment when something clicks, when one move reshapes everything. Maybe this is that moment. Maybe Polanco is that move. And if so, we're about to witness a whole new chapter unfold in the Bronx, so stay tuned, stay alert. Because the Jorge Polanco era in New York might be about to begin. And if it does, it's going to be one hell of a ride. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.